give it your trademark. Start off the episode and Twitter us on the
All right. Welcome to the Anibros podcast. You have tuned in to the correct podcast, and for your reward, you get to hear about how you can tell other people about us by going to anibrospodcast.com, following us on the old Facebook, and so forth with the Twitter at Anibros Podcast.
It's a new day. It's a new episode. We've got our most favorite guest, the P. Rizzler.
Coming to you live and in color.
That's right.
Yeah, I can see his pasty white face right now.
I mean, only for Anibros Gold subscribers, of course. Everyone else, you just get the audio file.
We told everybody about Anibros Gold, right?
Well, you can...
I feel like we did. Don't worry about it.
It's probably fine. You guys know who you are. Don't mention it to anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't want more people to give us money.
No.
So Jack and Laven, what do you have planned for today? You know, what do we got on the episode?
Well, we were here in the studio, just, drinking coffee from our Anibros mugs and looking at the street.
I mean, well, I can see you as we all are in, the studio and what have you.
It's the morning zoo right now, and we were going to, give a traffic update on old KWZB, Boston. And what do you know? Patrick just came into the studio and thought he'd surprise us with some things.
So I was figuring, lads, I've been watching some anime, and I was just wondering if you wanted to hear about it.
Well, this is an anime podcast, so I feel like that's probably the greatest coincidence of the day.
Now, normally I watch the really bad new anime, and I was thinking, why not watch the really bad old anime? So I Googled best anime of all time and found some real gems. And I figure I'm gonna read it off to you and see if you can tell me what anime it is. Now, how about this? Both Laven and Jack, why don't you secretly send me what your guess is without saying it out loud, and then you can both say it out loud.
Okay.
Oh, and I should say I have changed some things more so than usual, just because if I'm talking about Jimmy the anime and I tell you the main character is Jimmy, you'd probably be able to figure it out. So usually what I do is just I'm going to change some things around more so than usual. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's fire it up.
So we start off, there's this boy out in the woods when a fox bear tries to kill him. Now, luckily, this hipster comes out of the woods and saves the boy. The boy's name is Gong, and he's an orphan. And the hipster tells the boy that the hipster is a hunter, which is someone who goes around doing stuff and solving mysteries, unless he doesn't want to. And it's a very traditional, vague hipster trade. And it would seem that Gong, turns out he's not an orphan, that his father, Gang, was a hipster hunter who trained the hipster who just saved Gong from the fox bear. So Gong finds out that Gang was alive, and Gong decides to go into the woods at age 12. Kind of like other great animes. Like the Pokemons of the world, send your children out into the woods and they'll be great and what have you.
Yeah, classic Japanese folktales.
Yeah. So Gong needs to prove to his aunt that he really is ready to go out into the world. And so she says, if you can catch the really big fish in the lake, then you can go out into the woods. And so he catches the big fish. And the trick is he uses this nearby tree as kind of like a pulley, okay? Now, it doesn't make sense because the string, the line, is going up and over the tree. Now, anyone who's taken dynamics knows that only redirects the force. What you actually need is a pulley on the underside, and then you will have to pull twice the length, but you will get twice the force. So it really didn't make sense.
This kid's not too bright of a physics student, is what you're saying.
He's got to go under the tree, not over. I'm sorry, where was I?
The anime failed physics, and he caught a fish.
Yeah, and then he shows the town his fish, and then the boy heads out into the woods to become a hipster. Will Gong pass the hunter exams? Will the wandering hipster find Gong's father, Gang? Is 12 too young to leave one's family and go off into the woods? Find out on the next episode of... And then I just got an ellipsis there because I'm not telling you. All right. So you two, why don't you secretly send me your guess of what anime that is?
All right.
So Laven, you wanna just send it on over?
Yeah.
All right, you both have sent over your guess.
That's my guess.
All right. Before I reveal your guesses, what'd you think of the anime? What did it strike you as?
It was really hard to follow what's going on because of what I hope the changes you made were. Something about, I couldn't tell if the fox bear was real and the hipster was fake, or vice versa.
Well, you see, it's kind of a mix between a fox and a bear, and that's why it's called a fox bear.
Are you allowed to say if that was really in the anime or something you changed?
I should probably keep it all a secret to the last second.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
I can say I probably haven't seen this show.
All right, lads. Why don't you say what your guesses were?
I sent you a bunch of guesses as you were telling the story. I think before you started, I guessed Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Then I changed my guess to Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Then I changed my guess to Katana Gatari.
Yeah.
But then I changed my guess to King of the Hill. Then I changed my guess to Legend of Zelda.
And what was the last one?
The last one was literally Pokemon.
Oh, that's funny that you should mention that. I guessed one time, and my guess was Digimon.
Okay.
Well, in Digimon, they didn't go into the woods. They were...
Listen, man, none of the things I could think of match what you said. So I just picked something that I remember from being a child, and that was what you got.
Well, lads, sadly, you're both wrong.
I'm sure.
The great anime was Hunter x Hunter.
Okay. The word hunter, as soon as you said, will he be a hunter or something, I was like, all right, could be Hunter x Hunter, just because that was something that I don't think Patrick would say normally.
I gotta say that barely floated into my mind, but I was like, I have no idea what that show's about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I ruled it out. I talked myself out of it. I'm like, I don't know, and I don't care enough to know, and I'm just gonna just pick Digimon because I want to remember Digimon in my own head for a second.
The kid's name is Gong, and a hunter does come up and save him from a fox bear, and tells him about his father. And then the ant doesn't want him to leave unless he finds a big fish. So he gets his line and goes over the tree and is able to pull the fish out of the water. Although, as I explained before, that just redirected his force and didn't actually help him. And then his aunt was sad, and then he trudged off into the woods to go to the hunter exams.
So you didn't even change the character's name.
No. I changed the name of his father, though. I don't think it was Gang, it was something else. But I like the idea of Gang and Gong being really similar names. Yeah, so almost nothing was changed.
All right.
The hipsters, they come
okay,
up
the
later
hipster
again.
thing I suppose was, but when he described what a hunter was, he's just like someone who goes around and solves mysteries and, helps or something.
Is that what you think a hipster is?
I could imagine a hipster giving me an answer like that, and then as I followed them around, I'm like, I don't understand. They aren't doing anything. When's the mystery solving about to happen?
Well, what did you think of Hunter x Hunter?
I didn't like it.
All right.
Okay, that's all that you needed to say.
Google lied to me. You ready for the next gem?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this Tarzan character, he's out swinging about from the vines, and he's walking on the logs, and he's getting into this fight with a saber-toothed cat. And as Tarzan is walking back to his house, a female Asian driver runs into him with her car and then tries to shoot him. But luckily, Tarzan doesn't die. But unfortunately, the girl is trying to take Tarzan's grandpa's magic jewel that he left specifically for Tarzan. And it turns out that the jewel is part of like a set, and the girl has some of the other gems, and it would seem that they're trying to get some more gems or something. Anywho, Tarzan and the girl head off to gather all the gems. And it turns out that the girl has some like inflatable car that's, I guess, a thing.
Yeah.
And so they head out into the poorly drawn world. But unfortunately, a pterodactyl comes and grabs the girl and flies off. But then Tarzan hits the pterodactyl over the head because he has a long staff. And then the girl is saved, but she ends up wetting herself in her fright. Will Tarzan collect all the gems? Will he learn about women? Will he learn about the poorly drawn world? Find out on the next episode of... And then Loli lifts us there. Yeah. All right. So, lads, without giving me your guess, just tell me what you think of the show. Does it strike your fancy?
It sounded pretty exciting. It ended on kind of a weird note of just the girl wetting herself, but it seems that they're in the jungle with dinosaurs and...
I mean, if a pterodactyl came down and grabbed you, wouldn't you be a bit scared? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on what you said, I don't really know how it factored in with him trying to learn about girls in the end there.
Well, I don't think it did. It was just her peeing herself.
Yeah. Well, no, like in your next episode description, you said, will he ever learn about girls? And in the description of the episode, it didn't seem like he had any questions.
I'm sorry. If you've ever seen Tarzan, which I just assumed you had, he's an ape-like man who lives out in the jungle.
I've seen Tarzan. I'm aware of Tarzan.
He swings from mines and is walking on logs, and he gets into fights with saber-toothed cats, and he doesn't know about like women folk. And then this girl Jane comes, and then he has to learn about her.
Okay. So I might change my answer then to just Disney's Tarzan.
I almost guessed that, but I thought that's kind of low-hanging fruit.
All right. Lads, why don't you give me your guesses?
I guessed Dragon Ball, but I have auxiliary guesses as The Emperor's New Clothes, Jurassic Park, and then corrected to Jurassic World.
So you're cheating is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Laven, what was your guess?
I guessed once, and I also guessed Dragon Ball. As soon as you said saber-tooth tiger, I locked it in because it was very easy
I think
to guess.
as soon as you said magical gem.
Oh, that's when you got it?
Grandpa's magical gem.
Now, I recently, like within the last 4 or 5 months, started watching Dragon Ball. So, like, as soon as you said swinging around on vines, fight the saber-tooth tiger, I'm like, oh yeah, first episode of Dragon Ball, done.
It was one of the worst nonsense I've ever seen.
Really?
It was just like nothing was happening. It's just this guy, and he's like, let me just go to the bathroom now. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. You know what's kind of interesting, though? Both Hunter x Hunter and Dragon Ball, first episode, they catch a really big fish.
They do, yeah, that's true.
That's what kids like.
Coincidence? I think not. You know what else? They both head out into the woods.
It's timeless. It's
First
a timeless thing that kids do.
I don't know if Dragon Ball copied it off of someone else, but basically everyone who tries to make a kid's anime just copies it off of Dragon Ball.
You think that Dragon Ball copied Hunter x Hunter?
No, other way around.
I'm just saying it's possible.
I'm saying it's not possible.
Unlikely. I don't know when was the first episode, like
1986 or something crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Well, I watched it dubbed and the audio is like terrible, so it makes it seem older than it is. But
well, you lads ready for the next one?
I am.
Fire them up.
All right. Have you boys ever seen the anime GTO?
Yeah.
Yep.
What does that stand for again?
Great Teacher Onizuka.
Onizuka. All right. Well, the main character looks kind of like the main character from that anime, so I'll just refer to him as GTO.
Okay.
So the anime begins with GTO waking up, but what's this? Everything is upside down, and he's floating in the air, and oh no, it can't be. Can it? Oh, it must. it would seem that GTO was a ghost. So this witch ghost who flies around on a magic orb because her broom got stolen, tells him that he, as he attempted to save this little boy who ran into the street, GTO unexpectedly died. And it seems that GTO died so unexpectedly that they don't really have a place for him yet. So they want him to become like a detective type. And then he can be alive again if he helps solve crimes and whatnot. So anywho, at first GTO, I mean, we all know GTO. He's not an easy guy. So he says no.
He's rough.
I'm not doing this. But then he flies over to his funeral and he sees the girl who obviously loves him, and it turns out that she loves him. And he sees the boy who wants to beat him up, but it turns out he's sad because he can't beat him up. And then he sees his mother, who's a good for nothing. And that's all she is, actually. And then anywho, so he finally agrees to be a ghost detective. Will GTO get his body back? Will he be able to solve the mysteries of the ghost world? Actually, that's all I wrote. Couldn't come up with a third one. Will the fly witch lady find a magic broom instead of an oar, which doesn't make a lot of sense? Find out on the next episode of...
And then did you write a little ellipses there?
Actually, no, I must have forgotten to write that.
It seems like you forgot to write the last half of the whole thing, but all right.
All right, lads, what'd you think of that one?
I thought it was pretty cool. I like mysteries and...
You like mysteries?
Yeah, ghosts. I like tough guys.
Do you like ghosts?
I like ghosts.
Laven, you want to get in on this action?
I don't like ghosts, but I like mysteries enough to and I like tough guys.
I like anime witches.
Yeah.
Do you like GTO? Was that a good one?
Yeah, I basically only thought of GTO the whole time.
I almost guessed GTO.
Hey, how you do?
But then I remembered that you told us.
Goodfellas impersonation.
I think that when we reveal our guesses, any auxiliary guesses should probably go first. just to keep the suspense up.
Oh, you think you got this in the bag?
I mean, yes. I
Right.
didn't give personally any auxiliary answers, but any participants who did, that's just my suggestion.
Give me your guesses.
All right. First, I guessed The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It's the
Okay.
part where he watches his own funeral.
Mm-hmm. It's actually Huck Finn, but close.
Oh, yeah. So that's obviously wrong. So then I was like, A Christmas Story.
Close.
Because he sees what the world's like if he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
But then I realized, oh, wait a minute. The whole time I knew it was Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho. That's what I'm talking about. Not the only thing he was Haka,
You know what I'm saying? Faux show.
So, Laven, what did you guess?
I guessed a singular one answer, and it was Yu Yu Hakusho as well.
Apparently, it also has the name of Ghost Files and Poltergeist Report. Lads, what did I change about my description of the first episode?
That his mom was good for nothing. I mean, she was good for something.
For what?
She was sad that her boy died.
Yeah, but she was mopey and sad before he died.
I mean,
Well, was she pre-mourning or something?
yeah.
I do not remember the first episode. I just remember the premise that he's a guy who died and becomes a ghost detective.
Oh, yeah. What happens in the second episode or later episodes? Does he get his body, but he has to do something?
Yeah, they convince the mom that she's not actually dead, so she fights for them to not cremate him.
Okay.
And then keeps him in the house.
Yeah.
And then he has to do a bunch of good deeds in order to return to his body.
Wait, what?
Who
Really?
convinces him that he's not dead? What do you mean?
So the spirit world.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's actually Yusuke or if it's some other force. They figure out how to communicate. Oh, I think with Kuwabara, his little stupid friend, to tell him that he's not actually all the way dead. And they're like, oh, check. And then they check his pulse or something, and they're like, oh, I guess he's not all the way dead. And then
He's only half dead.
well, yeah,
you know?
they reason that he's like, oh,
You know, the only thing you can do when someone's all dead is go through their pockets and look for loose change.
they figure out like his life force is still there, so they put him in the shrine and they wait until he can do enough good deeds to come back.
The shrine, what
They
shrine?
build a little shrine inside the mom's house.
Okay, they build one. Okay.
Oh, they don't build anything. They sort of set up a little seance area inside the house.
Oh god, this. So they've got a dead body. I'm sorry,
It's
a
weekend
half-dead
at
body
Bernie's.
Yeah.
in the house for a while. And people, what do they say when they come to the mom's house for tea?
They say,
That's my
look
son.
At that.
He's still alive.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, lady, you might want to let go.
Now, the only thing I remember about Yu Yu Hakusho is just tournaments, just battles.
That
I thought
does
it was
happen.
like a clone of Dragon Ball Z.
No, that
Why
happens
were they
way later.
fighting? No, he's a detective. He doesn't
Yeah,
fight.
in the first well, probably not the first half of the show, but maybe the first 1/3 of the show. He just does. It's like very episodic, and he has to go around and solve things. Because he's a ghost, no one can see him, so he sees what actually happened, and he has to figure out how he can influence the real life people to like.
But
catch
he's
the
on
criminal.
Earth. He's not in these demon dungeons or whatever.
No, he's just floating around on Earth. He's like in purgatory, and he has to like do all
Does
this
he
stuff.
get his body? And then he like halfway through the show? Or?
Oh, way earlier than that. Yeah, he gets his body, and then they're like, "All right, but since we did that for you, now you actually have to be a human detective for us." And then,
Why? Why didn't you say screw you?
well, I don't know, because they let him come
Because
back
then
alive.
he really dies.
But then he has to like go back to school or whatever. But he also has to like solve crimes.
He
Like,
has to go back to school, but
yeah,
everyone went to his funeral.
yeah. They figure out he's not dead. They're like, "Oh, it's crazy, you're not dead." He has to go fight like crimes of the same capacity, but like this time on
like
Earth.
a lot of doctors and such want to see this medical mystery. I imagine that takes up a few episodes, right?
Laws don't apply to him anymore.
Yeah, he has. That's essentially true. He doesn't have to do human things because he's super good.
It says in Japan, it says once you die, you don't have to do anything. And they never thought that anybody would find a loophole in that.
Once you die, your life just sucks beyond all end.
Okay. What do you lads say about the next episode?
I say fire it up.
So, you've seen Blade Runner, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like tears in the rain.
Mm-hmm. Good impression, but go on.
Anywho, we're in this kind of Blade Runner looking world, and this schmuck is just kind of wandering around, and he looks at one of those big TVs that are in the future, and he decides he's going to join the Space Navy. And unfortunately for him, some seedy admirals, they want to attack the Romulans. So the schmuck, he may have bit off more than he can chew. So he's going through basic training, which consists of putting on this kind of sorting hat robot onto his head. But then he, instead of getting placed somewhere, he makes the sorting hat fall in love with him. It turns out that the sorting hat is actually like in charge of the base, though, and starts blowing everything up in her elation. And yeah, that was about it
For the first episode.
I will say he kind of wears this like trench coat with a big smiley face. Have you seen Watchmen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like that smiley face. It just made me think, Watchmen. Maybe they're a fan.
Hold on. So what happened at the end?
Will the Space Navy go to war with the Romulans? Will the robotic sorting hat get over her broken heart? Will the schmuck fall in love with the Romulan princess? Find out on the next episode of Ellipsis. So what'd you think?
That sounded really short for a full-length episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually has so many things from several different anime that I've seen that I'm like, crap. With all the things that are the same from other animes, plus the little changes that Pat made, I don't know.
What little changes? I mean, it looked like Blade Runner. He joins the Space Navy. They go to war with the Romulans. He puts on a sorting hat. I mean, how much more blunt can I get?
Do you know how many animes follow that exact same template?
I'm hoping 0.
You'd be off by at least one.
All right, lads, send me your guesses. Laven, I'm looking at you.
I am thinking still.
Yeah. You, Hey, Laven. I was just wondering, how's that screenplay of yours coming along?
It's going pretty well. I see that you've peeked at it in your account of the last episode, but I'm gonna have to make some changes now because they're obviously farcical in nature.
I just noticed that you enjoyed typing on your typewriter. I imagine that's what I hear in the background.
That's
every
not
time.
me. That is not me. Not this time for sure. It was not me. That was been Jack this whole time.
Oh, you know what? I can tell why it's not Laven because he hasn't sent his guess yet.
I have set my guess.
All right, then are we ready to go?
Yeah. Why don't you give it to me straight, lads?
All right. My dumb joke answers that everyone's tired of were Star Trek and Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually the irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Okay.
Oh. Laban, what were your jokes?
I had no jokes.
Oh.
Only
Typical.
because I was going to make jokes this time for the third one, but I was actually trying to think of the real thing. So the only anime that I know that has him actually joining the Space Navy in the episode is Captain Tyler as well. So that is what I guessed.
Oh.
Now, you sound like you're having trouble with this one.
I had to think about it because there's a lot of space navies and there's a lot of Romulan fighting. And there's no sorting hats, so I wasn't sure. But I was like, no, I think the only thing where you see him join, and it looks like Blade Runner times, is definitely Captain Tyler. So
It was Captain Tyler. You guys got it. I'm making this too easy for you.
Well, when you say you went and watched the best anime, I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone out and done the same thing.
Yeah, Googled it and just went out and watched the number one.
Except for Hunter x Hunter. I didn't know that one, but the other one's kind of, What did you think of Captain Tyler? Because I have seen all of that one.
It looked just really shoddy, and he looked like a schmuck, and I'm like, hopefully he falls in love with the Romulan princess. I think that'd be cool.
Well, he does.
Does he stop the space battle just in time?
Yep.
yeah, he does.
No, I can't. No, so does the first episode really end like that, or does it show him getting in the army?
He's just like wandering away from the robot space sorting hat thing after it exploded, and like the base is exploding, and everyone's like, something happened.
Okay, because it basically makes him the captain, and everyone's mad
What makes him the captain?
I don't remember. I thought the sorting robot did.
The sorting robot he just made her really angry at him, though.
Oh.
I thought the generals in the room make him a captain because they're like, he'll screw up and die or something like that.
Why would they want?
They have some sort of ulterior plan, and they're like, yeah, give it to this idiot. He'll do something wrong, and then it'll change. It'll do the thing we want to do, and I can't remember what that thing is. But
He's just like an accidental bumbling guy, and he somehow rises to power. And
he definitely is a
funny.
bumbling idiot. Yeah.
It's a comedy, yeah.
So did I leave anything out of my description? Did I change anything?
Are they really called Romulans?
No.
Oh, well, no. I have no idea what they're called, but Romulan sounded about right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
I think it's copyrighted. I don't know if they could just do that.
Are you lads ready for the next one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fire it up, sir.
Oh, they're called Rolgons.
Oh, close
kinda
enough.
Close.
A boy lays dead on the ground as a girl, surrounded by drugs, cries for him. That girl is then killed by someone wielding an axe. What does it all mean? We may never know. So at school, this schmuck is messing around on his cell phone, and then this skeleton man makes it like a magic cell phone, which will tell him junk. And it turns out that his magic cell phone, this guy who's a murderer who also has a magic cell phone wants to kill him. And lucky there's this girl who has a magic cell phone, and she wants to not kill him. But unfortunately, the murderer with the magic cell phone, he wears this jacket, which not only makes him look cool, it makes him invincible. But unfortunately, he didn't realize that if his magic cell phone gets hurt, then he dies. And this is what I would suggest, put a little case around your magic cell phone, and then you won't die. But that's just me. Anywho, luckily for the schmuck, at the very beginning of the episode, it shows him throwing a dart. So we know that aside from his many hobbies of doing nothing, he's good at throwing darts. And so guess what his like secret ability is? Throwing darts from time to time.
That's original.
And so the murderer with the magic cell phone, he gets a dart right in the cell phone, and then he like goes into a vortex. Will the skeleton man's existence be explained? Is this girl who got axed earlier in the episode reliable? Will people try to kill the schmuck one by one until the season is over? Find out on the next episode of You lads sending me a little guess-a-rooney? What'd you think of the anime? Does it just strike your fancy? You think you'll watch it?
I want to know more about how you got those drugs.
Yeah, was it one of those like flash forward deals? And then they go
Probably.
back and-
It was one of those. I see this a lot in the first episode of an anime where like something mysterious happens, and then when I get to the end, I'm like, well, they didn't explain that at all. So maybe I'll find out in the next episode. Or not, either way. So what you guys think? Good show, bad show? What are you thinking?
It sounded pretty good.
Oh, it sounded good.
I have a very solid guess of what I think it is, and it's a show I've seen, so...
Well, I mean, just from the description, though.
Just from the description,
Yeah.
sounds pretty bad. I don't know about a skeleton man. I don't know about darts. It sounds stupid.
Yeah. Do you like the magic cell phone?
Magic cell phone, I'm
It's
indifferent towards.
Kind of like a magic school bus, except instead of going in and finding out people's blood and what have you, you get turned into a vortex if it breaks.
Oh, wait a minute. In your description, did you say how the cell phone was magic, or did you just say it was a magic cell phone?
Let me look. I think I said the skeleton man gives him a magic cell phone or makes it magic or something like that.
What about it is magic?
Who knows, man? It's just a magic cell phone. All right, give me your guesses.
I had a pretty solid guess. I was just waiting and waiting for you to keep talking and then say, and then the man said, "Can you hear me now?" Good. And so I thought it was definitely going to be a Verizon commercial.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And then you never said that, so I had to quickly change my answer to Future Diary.
Oh. Well, Jack, what did you think it was?
That's also what I guessed is Future Diary.
Oh. Well, you both got it right. Put another 5 points up on the board, Bob.
Oh, I haven't been doing that.
So, have either of you seen this?
I have, yeah.
Luckily, I've seen the first episode. So
What did you... Was my description accurate?
I don't remember darts, but I also watched it when it first came out a while ago, so I don't remember.
What about you, Jack?
That was pretty accurate as far as I can remember, yeah. He's just throwing darts for some reason. Skeleton Man, who's not explained until much later, comes in.
No, he's not. He's just like, oh, I'm a god. And you're like, what? Oh, and I need someone to replace me. And you're like, why? And he's like, all right, that's enough about me. Why don't you kids start killing each other? You're like, what? Why don't you just pick someone?
And then all of a sudden, everyone just really wants to kill the main guy.
1 episode at a time.
Yeah.
Well, more like 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah, because I think it goes to 26.
Yeah.
I really liked watching that show. Some people say it's bad or some people say it's good, but I liked it. I thought it was really exciting.
I'll also say that I actually did watch this thing and I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'd recommend it just because, I don't know, of my peculiarities, but yeah.
The first episode's like the worst episode. It does get better.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that beginning thing, they don't explain it till like the end. You know, it's kind of, what do you call it?
Bad.
Which one? They invent the machine? The time machine?
Thomas Edison.
Steins Gate.
Steins Gate,
Oh.
yeah, and the first episode's just god-awful. It kind of has that feel to it. Although, now that I think back, her standing over the boy... Oh, the drugs. No, I do remember.
Wait, have
Okay.
you seen the whole series?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Then yeah. Then you know what happens at the end, yeah.
Yeah. Although watching the first episode, I was like, "Oh, I didn't recall that happen."
Yep,
Oh,
I was gonna say that too. I was like, oh, I didn't know they foreshadowed that.
Here's my thing: the guy who's like invincible against gun bullets and like bombs and everything, just because he has a jacket on.
Oh yeah.
I never really got that, but it's a shame he didn't put an anti-dart cloth around his phone.
You know, the part that
I
will
just
kill
keep
him.
thinking, like, darts? What? This doesn't make, like, truly, the guy's a schmuck. All he does is types into his cell phone. Oh, I almost forgot to mention he's really good at darts, which will come up later in the episode. And you're like, what? That's not like, building the character's backstory. You know, like, oh, when my dad died in that dart tournament, I just got really sad and started typing in my cell phone. Okay, that's something. It's not good, but it's something. You can't just say, oh, you better show him like throwing a dart early in the episode, and then people know why he has darts later.
And I think before he leaves for school, he like packs 3 darts into a little pack on his belt.
Yeah, because I mean that's never explained, but you know it helps.
He's got to have those darts with him at all times.
Yeah, I'm sure he looked at his future diary and it said, "Hey, you should pack some darts."
Now, can you tell me where I can buy for myself some anti-dart cloth?
Otterbox.
Okay.
Waterproof, dart-proof.
I just
No, but I would like to wear this. If it's a cloth, I'd like all my clothes to be anti-dart cloth.
well, that murderer guy, he had some anti-bullet, anti-bomb cloth, so
That's not good enough. I only
Burlington
need
Coat Factory.
Okay, thanks. Someone write that down. I'm going to go ask the clerk if I can get some anti-dart cloth.
yeah. Make sure it's for a flip phone though, because they aren't big on the smartphone.
What do you think
things.
they make flip phone size dart cloth for a person? Like I needed to cover my torso, Patrick.
Yeah.
You're not going to become the next god. I'll tell you that right now.
I want to be just free of dart attack in any of my affairs.
Don't go to school with this kid.
Oh, well, I can't choose who I go to school with.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the anime starts as Jack and Jill are getting married. And it's this like real high class, fancy, like bring your best top hat and monocle type of wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, everyone's in attendance. You got this hot woman, you got this quiet guy who looks like a 1920s detective. And then out of nowhere, this loud guy who looks like a 1920s detective. He like barges in, but they get him out of there. So anywho, Jack marries Jill, and it turns out Jill, she's like this stuck-up rich heiress, but she's also pretty easy on the eyes, you know. You know what I'm saying?
No, me.
He likes them young. So at the police station, Captain Patrick, he gets the word that tomorrow, apparently something or another is going to get stolen, and he needs to make sure that it doesn't get stolen. So it turns out that Jack and the quiet guy who looks like a 1920s detective, they're trying to steal the valuable thing. But then the loud guy who looks like a 1920s detective, he spots him and starts running after him. Luckily for them, a samurai jumps out of the bushes and cuts down a tree, which falls on the loud guy who looks like a 1920s detective. I imagine it also damages his sword irreversibly. So as people are running around, it turns out that the hot chick from earlier, she was wearing a disguise to look like an old codger, which doesn't make sense because she doesn't have any of the same features, but okay. So she steals the thing, but then Captain Patrick stops her, but then Jack, he steals the valuable thing. But then, oh God, he like gives it back to the Captain Patrick to let the hot chick go. But then it turns out that Captain Patrick wasn't actually Captain Patrick, but it was Jill dressed up as Captain Patrick.
Oh.
Even though she looks nothing like Captain Patrick and is significantly shorter than him. And that also didn't make any sense. And it seems that Jill knew Jack never liked her, but she figured marrying him would be like good for a lark, I guess. So the episode ends with them getting divorced. And Jill takes the thing back, and Jack heads off to his next adventure in the next episode. Oh, they also ominously show some guy at the end of the episode. I don't know who he is, though. Will the mysterious man be explained? Will the hot chick fall for Jack? Will it turn out that the quiet guy who looks like a 1920s detective actually was impersonating the loud guy who looks like a 1920s detective the whole time? Find out on the next episode of Ellipsis. So, what do you think?
I think that sounded really confusing, but also very 1920s.
I was a big fan of the detectives.
Which one?
The 1920s looking detective was my favorite out of the description that you've given to us.
He did remind me of someone you could trust.
That's good. I mean, as opposed to the 1920s looking detective, who he didn't really strike me as someone you
The
could
quiet
ever
one
trust.
or the loud one?
The quiet one.
And I do like the samurai jumping out, cutting down a tree. That was a very nice touch.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. But it happened.
That's what they do. Have you ever watched a samurai in action before?
No.
Oh, well.
Have you?
In the 1920s, they just hated trees.
Yeah, when and where did this take place? Did we ever establish that?
I don't think so. I think it might have given it away if I told you where it took place and when and such, so I didn't.
Okay.
So you lads sending in your guesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you hit me with it? What's your guess?
All right. It's Face Off, the anime.
Oh, that's a good guess.
What? Wait, what? I don't get it.
I mean, Cage Rage at its finest, but I didn't know they made it into a Japanimation.
Oh, does he like fight someone? I've never heard of this movie.
Joe Millionaire.
How is this Joe Millionaire?
I mean, rich people getting married and then divorcing.
They usually hire samurais to cut things at random for feats of strength.
Listen, I'm going to skip the rest of my joke guesses and just say it's Lupin the Third.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, Laven, what's your guess?
I wrote down Wacky Races because when you said 1920s detective, I didn't really picture a 1920s detective. I just pictured that schemy mustached man from Wacky Races who, has a little dog
I have
sidekick.
no idea what Wacky Races is, but I'll just trust you that it's
Well,
similar.
he's pretty crazy. And then my actual answer is also Lupin the Third. I think it's Fujiko Mine only because it's the only Lupin that I couldn't think of the first episode of.
You
and I
gotta
haven't
say
seen.
if that's your final answer.
Oh yeah, that's my final answer.
What's a Fujio Mie?
It's the wrong answer.
Oh, I should have just left it Lupin the Third.
What is it, Jacko?
It's a totally separate series that's not this one.
Yeah, it's a different Lupin the Third series.
Oh.
Because this one is actually like the fourth one.
Is the one that you just described a newer, like in the newest one?
Yeah, just from last year.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that or Fujiko, so I was like, well, if he Googled it and it was, rated as really good, and he said old, so I'm gonna go with the older one that I haven't seen.
Now, Patrick,
okay.
what did you think about this episode?
I remember watching half an episode of a previous Lupin the Third and thinking this is one of the worst drawn things I've ever seen. And this actually was pretty well drawn.
It was.
It was just nonsense though, when like you can just be anyone, I guess. Like they go to no effort whatsoever to show like, oh, she had a mustache. No, they just kind of like pull off a blanket that makes them look exactly like anyone, and then it turns out they were someone. I mean, it was pretty. I guess that was nice. I thought that him marrying this girl would be more than just a one episode random thing. I don't know. Maybe they were. Who is the samurai guy? Like, why'd he cut down the tree?
He's their third friend. He's a little off.
First of all, I guess it's good to know a little bit about Lupin. The gang is Lupin, the quiet 1920s detective, the samurai, and the girl who rides the motorcycle. They're kind of pals and they're in every episode, but I thought the same thing. I thought the whole thing where they just kept pulling off their faces saying, I was actually this guy. That got really stupid by the end of the episode.
Do they not normally do that?
Well, they've done it like once or twice before, and I guess that's like a Lupin thing to do. He dresses up like the fake the loud 1920s detective sometimes.
Okay. I mean, when you see him, are you like, oh, that's clearly Lupin dressed as, or is he just exactly the same?
It's just exactly the same, usually.
Yeah.
You're like, you just think it's the one character, and then they get you
And
at
then
the
it
end. And they're like,
turns
oh.
out,
It's not an every episode thing, though, and I thought it was like overused in this episode. It was really stupid. But the art was super good.
yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. So you thought my description was accurate?
Oh, yeah, it was totally accurate.
Okay. Well, anywho, that was that for that section. You lads want to move on to the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have Slides with Patrick. Okay, and we're back. Here now to dramatize a famous scene from a well-known flick is the Anibros and Patrick.
Now, I know you two are fellow thespians. Many of the Anibro listeners may not know this. So I was thinking, like all anime con-goers, you two at one point or another have secretly wanted to dub anime for a living, right?
Secretly.
I haven't told a soul.
Well, what do you say we give it a try?
Yes.
All right, that sounds pretty fun.
Okay, Laven, why don't you be boy 1?
Okay.
Jack, you be boy 2, and I'm going to be a cat demon.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Now,
All
is
right.
there a narrator? Do we need to set the scene?
Sure, I'll set it.
All
All
right.
right.
After a night of chasing ghosts through the mirror world, our characters have come out safe and sound and are having a chat before the end of the episode. Are you both ready? Have you both got your characters? Or do you need a moment to clear the throat, to embody? You know, are you thinking you're a newsman whose shoes are too tight? I mean, what do you have in your mind? I'm trying to... Meow! I'm a cat demon. Meow! What do you think of that?
That's I'm pretty scared.
All right, Laban, you up? You ready? You're first up.
Oh, okay. I'm
All right.
boy 1. That's all I have to work with for knowing what I am even going to sound like.
All right. And action.
It was a ghost, just like you said. They're real mirror ghosts. I can't believe you wouldn't believe me. You know how right I am about these things, being a school's resident psychic researcher and all. I did wish I'd gotten a picture through as proof. Then I could have sold it to Time or Newsweek. Oh, wait, where are you going?
I'm going home finally.
But I haven't told you my first-person account of what happened to me in the mirror. You're not listening to me.
I am listening. Not paying attention, but I am listening.
Well, if you've been in the mirror, I'd listen to you, and attentively as well.
Wow. But then, if everything was already reversed, meow, which world would be the real world? Would it be the mirror world or this one? Maybe the reflection we see is real. Ever thought of that? Meow. Isn't that just freaking you out? I mean, seriously, isn't that just whack crap? I'm playing with your mind, man, and you know that what the weirdest part is? I'm not even high. Not a bit. Totally sober, yo. And then I dropped the mic. So what anime was that from?
What's that dub where they just screw around? Ghost Stories? Is it Ghost Stories?
Oh,
It was Ghost Stories.
bam.
Oh, good. I was like, I hope that's not a real anime.
You got
Have
it.
neither of you seen Ghost Stories?
I have not.
I've seen a few episodes, yeah.
Was it worth watching?
I thought it was really funny, yeah.
From what I saw of episode 7, it's pretty good. And scene. All right, lads, you ready for your next and last part?
All right.
And this time, why don't you come up with a real character, a real doozy?
I'll have to have a second to read it first so I can think of what he's going to sound like.
You should come up with it before you know anything about the character. That's
All
what
right.
I say.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm famously bad at doing voices, but I'll try.
Howdy, y'all. No. How about... I am the Batman. I'll go with that. I'll go with creepy voice. All right, scene. The main character walks up the stairs to a crowd that seems to be interested in some goings-on.
What's wrong then? You gonna say a ghost or something? I know I'm good looking, but you don't have to gawk with your mouth open then.
Tyson, I'm sorry, but our Bay battle, it's off this afternoon.
What? You can't be serious.
Hey, saying get lost, kid. What don't you get, huh? I'm going to take your little friend's blade away. You're next on my list. Why don't you watch and learn?
Tyson, this guy is a shark who goes around winning everyone's blades.
Huh? Oh, that can't be true.
Oh, yeah. Then I must have picked up the wrong sack at the cleaners.
Drop sack of blades.
Oh, man.
What?
What you're doing is just plain wrong. To us Beybladers, blades are what represents us in battle. Whether we win or lose, we fight together. We win and lose together. We'll even fix them together. So how dare you take them away from us?
For the fun of it, I guess. Ho, guffaw.
What's so funny?
It's probably just a nervous laugh I use to hide my insecurities, but seriously, I guess I just like watching people lose. Must be some kind of gift. Yuck.
I've had it. I've got to put a stop to you then.
Whatever. Just don't cry when I take your blade.
And scene. What anime was that from?
I think that was from Pokemon, the first movie.
I think it was from Beyblade spelled differently every single time.
Did I misspell it every time?
I don't know how to spell it correctly, but it was spelled differently every time it appeared.
I guess I don't know how to spell things like Beybladers.
Did you even look in the dictionary?
It turns out it's from Beyblade, middle of episode 1. What'd you think of the dialogue, lads?
That's pretty good.
I like how they did everything together. They built them together and they fixed them together.
We work hard and we play hard.
That would have been a good accent. Maybe a Brooklyn man.
God, I can't do any voices like ever. You should have been the guy with the more lines. Tyson.
that was the greatest.
I wish I'd gotten more of those. It's kind of annoying going through
Having to watch them
finding reasonably odd dialogue, and then you have to listen to it for like 5 seconds, stop it, write down that bit you heard, listen 5 more seconds, and truly what I just showed you was like word for word what they said.
If you ever want to do it with a subbed anime, you can just rip out the subtitle file and it just literally has the script in almost plain text.
Oh, that would help. Although it'd have to be, I don't know. I was thinking of, I heard, what was it? Stretchy Boy?
One Piece.
Yeah, his whoever dubbed it the first time did a really terrible job, and so I got like 4 kids dubs, and so I was thinking of maybe doing one of their dubs and just reading that off straight up. But the problem is they're always like during a fight scene, so it'd just be a lot of like, I'm gonna give you the two stretchy arms because I'm a stretchy boy and, I can't swim. But that never seems to really impact me. Episode 512, about 12 minutes in, is where this gem comes from. Just to set the scene, they're about 12 inches from where they were in the first episode. Let's see if they get 13 inches away.
The planet's still 5 minutes from exploding.
Well, lads, what'd you think of those two animes? You thinking of watching either of them now that you've kind of reached into your inner thespian?
I'm really concerned for that guy's blade. I don't know. I don't want it to get broken.
I don't know why guys got a whole bag of just knives with him that he's stealing from kids, but I guess it's better than having kids have knives that they fight with at recess.
I really want you guys to help me dub an episode of an anime I've been wanting to dub for a long time.
I know I was for a while there. I couldn't get the deal with Anibros Audio through, but I was going to do, what was that, Yona of the Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
audiobook.
I was really looking forward to the last chapter of that, and it never came out.
I think the problem I found whenever I listened to it, it was just complete silence in the background, and I didn't have like you two chuckling away idiotically.
Or we just need to put like music and sound effects underneath it.
It was just fun. I listened to a lot of audiobooks, so I'm kind of used to having a read sort of voice, and I'm just like, this is perfect. Pat, keep reading. I want to hear more.
Do you like anime but hate watching it? Why not get the shortened version read to you by good Patrick?
Catch up on your shows on your commute.
Yeah. That's right.
So the stretchy feller, he's going after some like treasury thing or something, and he's got his hat and end of episode.
One Piece is like 700 episodes. If you could somehow condense that into like, I don't know, an hour-long book.
Just be like, yeah, I'm just going to skip over the next 50 episodes. Nothing really happens. Anywho, so the guy with the blades and the detective who looks like a 1920s detective shows up. Anywho, lads, I'm glad you were able to come out for this recording.
Well, Pat, we thank you for stopping into the studio and catching people on their morning commute.
I know you two. You're big deals now. I wasn't sure if you'd return my phone call.
Well, our secretary does that for us. I mean, you spoke with her.
Keep sending in those letters. Please comment on any of the episodes. Really, that would make my day if someone commented.
Hey, we have comments every episode.
That's true.
Oh yeah. Hey, you should go through, fellow listeners, and read the comments.
You should contribute to the comments.
Our good friend Tom comments.
Shout out to Tom. He is probably one of those elite members we were describing earlier.
Our good friend Van Guy.
What did he say?
He said, is this you, Patrick?
What?
Van Guy.
Are you Van Guy, Patrick?
I don't know. Read it to me.
All right. This is from episode 99. I wish I had a wish. So we were talking about Brave Beats. And he said, sounds like the planet dance was just a stone's throw away from Earth. Get it? A stone's throw away.
Yeah, because he threw the dance stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was literally a stone's throw away.
Yeah. Yeah. I vaguely remember creepy Van Guy having posted earlier, like on some other episode, something about little girls or something. Whatever.
Now, is that you wanting us to find your old comment?
I was actually going through some of the old comments, seeing if I could come up with another like game show type thing to guess and what have you. But then I was like, I'm not really sure how this is going to work.
I always wanted to put a quiz, say, hey, everybody, what's the music from every episode of Anibros? But I figured nobody would participate.
Apparently, in episode 85, Jimbo with the comment, wow, I can't believe a podcast like this got on The World in Review. It was interesting seeing behind the curtain how the bros work. And then Mr. Dotrieve posted, Aunt Dotrieve, Tell me this. Were you here to till in the soil and nurture the vine, or were you just playing in the garden? And then Kaon said playing. And then Aunt Gertrude was like, I think it would be best if you took your leave. Do you know what that's from?
Yeah.
What?
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Hank Hill.
The only good episode.
Really? You don't like that show?
No.
And Tom said on the last episode, or episode 99, a couple episodes ago, he listened to it at a Chinese restaurant for the full experience.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
He's got a bunch of good ones. He comments.
He's a regular commenter.
Oh, episode 97 doesn't have any comments. Must have been terrible.
It's possible.
That was our convention coverage.
I do like episode 95. The comment was posted by I love 9/11 #out. If it weren't for Patrick's voice, Laven's guesses, and Jack's laughs, this would have been an all-right episode of the Anibros anime podcasting done right. My score, 1 out of 10.
Oh,
Do you know what that was from?
which part?
Yeah, no, just like what happened in that particular episode, just from the comment. Can you figure it out?
Oh, that was the one where we guessed if the tweets were fake or not.
Yeah. You didn't seem very concerned that you tweeted "I love 9/11."
That was a fake one, wasn't it?
No.
What?
That's,
Oh, no.
that's
Laven said he loves 9/11.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a quote by Laven
Yeah.
that you tweeted out to the world.
I thought the listeners need to know where he stands.
I mean, I'm just going to throw out that I don't actually know the password to the Twitter account.
Not anymore. I took it
So
away.
you can take
He's
that with what you
been
will.
misusing all of his anti 9/11 privileges, and Jack had to take the keys away.
He sends me weird comics about 9/11, and I don't know what's going on. If he's pro or anti, or I don't know.
You guys know what a false flag operation is?
Nope.
Well, let me tell you. On the next hour for my next podcast, which is coming up in the next hour.
Okay. Well, if you want, good listeners, here's my impression of Kenny at KomoriCon.
Yeah, let's end the episode with a quote from our good friend, Good Patrick.
Should I set the scene?
Yeah, oh, very, very much so.
I can't remember if you set the scene in
Well,
the thing.
just do it again. It'll be
Well,
fine.
if not, you can just cut this bit out. So a while ago, the Anibros were going to host Anime Jeopardy. What did you call Anime Jeopardy this year?
I don't remember.
Anime Jeopardy, I don't remember, was hosted by the Anibros, as it always is, at KomoriCon, Oregon's anime convention held in Vancouver, Washington. And Kenny, of course, was going to be the master of ceremonies. And, I knew he was going to be working hard at coming up with stuff and not just winging it awkwardly. So I said, hey, maybe I'll just give you a little spiel that maybe you could say just before the whole thing starts up. And, I think I did a pretty good impression of Kenny.
Also, real short disclaimer. It was written way before the convention announced they were not going to be in Vancouver next year, so some of the jokes are about it always being in Vancouver.
The intro to Anime Jeopardy, as read by the amazing Kenny Hendricks, nephew of the great Jimi Hendrix. Imagine I am Kenny, standing on the dais in the front of a room packed to the rafters with people as far as the eye can see. They have all come for Anime Jeopardy. They have all come for me. Imagine yourself in the audience as I, Kenny, give my opening monologue. Me. Hello, everyone. My name is Kenny Hendricks, and I would like to welcome you to Anime Jeopardy at KomoriCon, Oregon's anime convention held at Vancouver, Washington. I ask the same question every year. Please put your hands up if you came to Anime Jeopardy last year. From the lack of hands in the air, I think it's safe to say that our primary demographic is people who have never been to Anime Jeopardy before, and hopefully that doesn't concern you. Up here helping me out are Jack and Laven from the popular anime podcast, the Anibros. Anime podcasting done right. Many listeners of the Anibros wrote in saying they wish they could have come to the panel today, but they aren't allowed within 1,000 feet of a school. Unfortunately for them, KomoriCon was booked at the Vancouver Hilton for the next 50 years, so we may never see their smiling faces. I don't know who at KomoriCon staff is infatuated with the Vancouver Hilton, but we have been having the con here for so long, they officially renamed KomoriCon from Oregon's anime convention to the anime convention on the Columbia River. It's not a joke. Check out the website. But who doesn't love the Vancouver Hilton? What with its wide hallways and varied panel rooms? Granted, you have to walk half a mile to get to half of them, but still, a great venue. I would also like to thank KomoriCon staff. You know, every year we ask for this panel, and every year they put us on the schedule. Every year we ask for 4 mics, 2 tables, and a projector, and while they haven't ever gotten us all the equipment we've asked for, they usually come up with at least half of it. So please give it up for a KomoriCon staff. Yeah! For everyone who is returning to Anime Jeopardy, you will be wondering where Patrick, last year's host, is. I know many of you were hoping to see him host the event again this year. We have gotten many compliments about how people enjoyed having to wait for Anime Jeopardy to start late and then having to wait another 20 minutes for Patrick's monologue to end before even hearing the first question. Sadly, Patrick got a job and moved. He apparently didn't think that KomoriCon was quite worth the vacation time to come and host Anime Jeopardy. What many of you may not know is that before Patrick, I was the host of Anime Jeopardy. He took over when I attempted every anime nerd's fantasy to move to Japan, become Japanese, and become the main character in an anime. For 2 years, I lived in Japan. And let me tell you, it's not all sticky buns and maid cafes. There were no giant robots that needed piloting, no high school tea and cake clubs that needed advising, and no cousins that needed cheering up. I found for a foreigner in Japan, teaching English and repairing vending machines was all you're good for. Who knew that following the dream you had when you were 10 years old watching Gundam wouldn't turn out for as you hoped? Well, that's enough about me. I mean, this convention's about anime, right? Oh, and let me tell you, this last year of anime may have been the best vintage of all time. Whether you liked harems, high school clubs, or, well, hopefully you liked harems or high school clubs. And there were a few other things. Why, you could have watched an anime about a young girl on her first day of high school. Or you could have watched an anime about a young boy on his first day of high school. You could have watched everything from high school clubs that drink more coffee than my hipster friend Laven, to high school clubs that spend longer tuning their guitars than my simpleton friend Jack. Sports animes, fighting animes, giant robot animes. This year had everything my 12-year-old self could have ever hoped for. Let me finish by saying that whatever reason you came here for, thank you. Whether you're into short skirts or long jackets, cliches or cosplays, mafia or yakuza, wise guys or samurai, sorbets or sake, Nestle or sushi, beef stew or tofu, dub or sub, Chicago or Tokyo, dainty or chibi, schoolgirl or catgirl, nervous kiss or fan service, pond scum or harem, sci-fi or hentai, racy or ecchi, Pinterest or incest, emoticon or locon. Who am I kidding? Anime is a deep, dark pit that no good can come from. It took the best years of my life and left me a shallow husk of a man. I look out and I see some of you in the audience today. You still have those beautiful smiles and perky breasts. You still have time. You can still have a good life if you just turn from anime now. I especially want to apologize to my best friend Patrick. I should have talked to you more at my wedding, but I was far too gone by that point. I will have to live with that shame the rest of my life. Oh, God. Laven, can you tell the good people what our first categories for Anime Jeopardy are? I just need to be more so worth it. So that's what I was thinking of going with, and I don't know, you know, see if Kenny wants to tweak it a little bit or what, you know, and just get his response and you know, make a little bit about it.
That's it. I don't think that's Forky the Pig. I don't know.